What's up YouTube? How are you doing today? Chana D or Techno Dad here, and in today's video I'm going to go over the pros and cons of using the Xbox One X or S as a 4K Blu-ray player. And we're going to get into it right after the jump. And I'm back. Now if you're new to the channel and you want to learn about 4K, home theater and audio products and how to set them up properly, you should consider subscribing because I'm here to help. And don't forget to hit that bell so you get notified when I do a live stream to answer your questions or when the next video gets released. Well, now that housekeeping's out of the way, let's get into it. Alright ladies and gentlemen, so people ask me this question a lot. Is the Xbox One X a good 4K Blu-ray player? And it's actually a long response, and I don't really go into a whole lot of detail in the comments. That's why I decided to make this video so you guys know exactly what the pros are and what the cons are of using the Xbox One X as a 4K Blu-ray player. Now, if you guys didn't see the live stream on Saturday, I did get asked this question, should I use the Xbox One X or a 4K Blu-ray player for 4K Blu-rays, fresh off the heels of the new Dolby Vision and Xbox announcement, adding Dolby Vision to the Xbox One X and S for both streaming and physical discs. So it's great news, and I'm going to tell you off the bat, it is a great value. The Xbox One S and Xbox One X have a great value, but they do have its drawbacks. So I'm going to tell you right now, the drawbacks are audio bugs and video processing is not so great. And I'll put a timeline up in this video so you guys can jump around if you wish. So the first thing we need to go over is price and value. Okay, the Xbox One S is running for $250 online brand new, and you can find it on eBay for $175 to $200 used. So, as a 4K Blu-ray player, it's very inexpensive. Not to mention, it has a ton of apps. So I know the UBK90 only has the 2 apps, and Sony has a few apps, and you can download some. So they have a good amount of apps. But most 4K Blu-ray players don't have like HBO Go or Showtime Anytime or Cinemax, whatever Cinemax's version of that is as well. So there's a whole bunch of apps, MTV app, Lifetime app. Like if you watch any kind of TV, Bravo, they have a Bravo app. So there's tons of apps on this. So it's an awesome streaming box, and it also doubles as a 4K player. And of course, if you step up to the Xbox One X, that's around $500. And for the most part, if you're using the Xbox One S or X for playing video games, and the 4K Blu-ray and all that stuff is just a secondary use for you, like if you watch 1 or 2 4K Blu-rays a month, if that, then you're probably not going to care so much as, the drawbacks are concerned. First one, let's talk about audio. So the very cool part about both of these consoles is that you can set it to bitstream output. That means you can get Dolby Atmos and DTS:X on this machine on 4K discs, streaming services, and let's not forget in-game. Something's like rumbling in the game and falling down, on top of you. You hear it coming down on top of you. I played Gears of War 4, the campaign, for about 2 hours, and I noticed quite a bit of Atmos. The Atmos was very active, so that was really cool. Here's the problem. My AV receiver sees Dolby Atmos coming from the Xbox all the time. Now, I know some of you are like, well, isn't that a good thing? No, it is not good. That is not the way it's intended. That's not the way it's supposed to work, and this is a problem. Okay, and I'll tell you exactly why right now. When you set it up to bitstream output, like soon as I turn on the Xbox, in the beginning screen, it says Dolby Atmos on my receiver. In the menu system, it says Dolby Atmos. There's no sound coming from the Xbox, but the AV receiver is always seeing Atmos because it's bit streaming and it's doing it incorrectly. If you stick in a 4K Blu-ray into a 4K Blu-ray player and you're on the home screen of the Blu-ray disc or the menu screen, that is usually not in Atmos. And I'll see Dolby Digital or Dolby Digital Plus or Dolby True HD or DTS:X or DTS:X Master Audio or DTS Neural X or whatever. I'll see that. Then when I hit play and the content is actually playing, then it'll be in Dolby Atmos or DTS:X, whichever one that disc happens to be. That is not the case here. Everything is going out Dolby Atmos. It's like it's forcing Dolby Atmos. And like I said before, it's not a good situation. For the past year, this has been happening, and I was hoping that in the May update of the Xbox, this would get resolved, but it has not. So I'm going to just tell you my experience with how bad the audio can get. So we were watching TV over the past week, and we wanted to watch some old movies, and we knew they were on HBO Go. So we went to the HBO Go app, searched the movie, found it, and hit play. Well, guess what? The audio keeps stuttering. Like stuttering. As soon as the intro music started playing, it was like dun dun dun. You know, that's how it would normally go, but it was like dun 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 dun. And you know, if you know you're into EDM, cool, but that's not the purpose. I was trying to figure out what was going on, and about every 3 seconds, 2 seconds, the audio would cut out and stutter, for about half a second. So you get this kind of situation, and it was pretty messed up. So I figured, oh, hey, you know what? Let me turn off Bitstream. So I went back into the menu system and changed it from Bitstream out to 5.1 uncompressed. And when I did that, went back into HBO Go, went back into the movie, hit play, and guess what? Everything's fine. That's one of the main things. Now you're probably saying to yourself, well, that's not really a big deal. Sort of, because if you're watching anything that doesn't have Atmos content and it's trying to force Atmos, then you're going to get some audio bugs or audio issues. So we went ahead and rented a movie that had Dolby Atmos on Vudu. So I went back in, set it back to Bitstream out, and then watched the movie, and everything was in Atmos, and it sounded great, and it was good. Then we wanted to watch or catch up on that show, The Affair, on Showtime. So we went to the Showtime Anytime app and went ahead and started watching the last season. And guess what? You got that same audio stutter glitch because we're still set to Bitstream. So went back in, turned it to 5.1 uncompressed, turned back on the TV show, and guess what? All is right again. So this is the audio issue. You need to, when you're watching Dolby Atmos content or when you're playing a Dolby Atmos game, go turn on Bitstream. Now, if you guys don't know how to do any of this, I'll link up a video down in the description or a card up top and take you through the steps of setting up Atmos on an Xbox One S or Xbox One X. It doesn't matter. Steps are the same. You're good to go. So you're going to have to continue to do that every time you want Atmos on or off. And it's kind of a pain in the butt. If you don't like fiddling around with things, then chances are this is going to kind of annoy you. Yeah, just a little bit. It annoyed me, and I like fiddling with stuff, and it annoyed me. I'm like, oh man, I have to go back and turn this off again? Lame. All right, so the next thing we need to do is talk about video. Now, if you guys didn't know, a 4K Blu-ray disc saves its color information on the disc as 420. Now, it's up to the 4K Blu-ray player to process this image to 444 before it's sent to the TV. And then from there, the TV transfers it or converts it to RGB. Now, the higher quality player that you purchase is going to have better processing in this area. And this is very important for getting your 4K HDR picture. So here's the situation with both the Xbox One X and S. They do not convert the 420 to 444. They convert the 420 straight to RGB. This means that it is displaying the colors incorrectly. Now, it's not going to be like huge and noticeable unless you have, let's say, a TV side by side with Xbox One X and a different 4K player and the same content running at the same time. Oh my gosh, there's actually a video about this. So I'm going to put a link down in the description to a video by HD TV Test. And he takes the Panasonic UB900, the Xbox One X, and I believe it's the Power Rangers Blu-ray, 4K Blu-ray, and he's using two identical Samsung QLED TVs to do this test. And go to the 4-minute mark. I'm going to try and set it up that way so you click and it already goes over there. And you'll see his demonstration of RGB. And you'll notice that on the Xbox One X, it's not displaying the colors correctly like it is on the UB900. And the picture also looks a little more flat as well. You can watch the video after you're done watching this one. This is the problem. This is the issue. So what's the big deal, you ask? Well, everyone I know that's upgraded from an Xbox One X or S to a dedicated 4K player notice that the colors pop more. Well, that makes perfect sense because the Xbox is not displaying the colors correctly. And I even get a lot of people telling me that they went from the LG player or the Sony player and up to a player like the Oppo UDP203, and guess what? They get more color pop and more depth and everything, like the experience is just a lot better. And that's due to the fact that the processing from 420 to 444 on these players is different. And that's what you're paying for, and that's why, there's, a big difference in price on the lower end players and something like the Oppo or the Panasonic that's coming out later this year. Okay, so next question. Why add Dolby Vision? Well, I feel that Microsoft did this just to separate themselves from the PS4 Pro. Looks like you're going to get way more value buying an Xbox One X than you will a PS4 Pro. If you're a first-time console buyer and you're looking at the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, well, adding Dolby Vision definitely adds more value to the Xbox. And that's why I think they did it. Also, adding Dolby Vision support will mean that the Xbox One S and X are the second streaming device that will offer both Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision next to the Apple TV 4K. So it adds more value that way as well. All right, now on to the most important question. Does this matter to you? That's really the big question. Does this matter to you? Are you running a full-on budget system like a TCL R617 and an Xbox One X? Probably not a huge deal. If you have like a TV that you've spent $1,500 and above, maybe you might, care a little bit more that the colors are being displayed properly and you want your TV to shine as well as like whatever the content is. Like Planet Earth 2 is gorgeous, So does it matter to you? If you have a TV that's $1,500 or above, I would say get yourself a dedicated 4K player. If you have something under $1,000, $600, $500, you're probably not going to notice too much of a difference. But there will be a difference. You might not notice it as much, but again, we come back to, does it matter to you? That's really the big question. So why don't you let me know down in the comments if it does matter to you or not. One more question, and we're going to be done with this video. So one more question. Do you think, since this processing only happens on a disk, the 420 processing to 444 before the picture and everything leaves the machine to the TV, do you think that this actually affects streaming services? Because I don't. Now, I'm not 100% sure about that, but I would imagine that the streaming services, whether they're Netflix or Vudu or whoever streams 4K UHD with HDR, I don't think that this processing affects streaming services. I think it's purely for the disc because that's the way the color is saved on the disc. So I'm thinking that you're going to get a better overall performance on the Xbox One X when you're streaming from Netflix or Vudu. And the addition of Dolby Vision definitely adds value to that box. Of course, I'm not 100% sure. Why don't you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below as well. Well, there you have it, people. The pros and cons of using the Xbox One X as a 4K Blu-ray player. First of all, you get tons of value with this box, especially if you're using it mainly to game, and you might watch the occasional 4K disc. It's got a ton of streaming apps, and it's the second device that will stream both Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision. But it has issues with audio and video processing, so it's pretty much up to you. If you don't care about these shortcomings, then good to go. But if you do, then you might have an issue and you might want to look at a dedicated 4K player. Now, if you have any questions, hit me up down in the comments or on email or whatever social media you like to use the most. And we're pretty much done with this video, guys. If you liked it, go ahead, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel using the button in the middle of your screen. Once again, my name is Chana D. I'm your Techno Dad, and I'll see you next time.